Hey guys, it's Josh. I want to welcome you back to the workshop. Um, Today we're going to work on some scrap projects that we have a lot of scrap wood in the shop, and we're going to do a couple different things with some scrap wood. But if you don't know, Candy loves coffee. If you're following her on Instagram or Facebook, she's on the search for the perfect iced coffee. What I think I'm going to do with some drop pieces of cedar that I have is I'm going to make her a coffee mug holder. Now, what I got from Lowe's was some hanger hooks, coat hooks, cup hooks, a couple bucks a piece, not too bad. Lumber we've had in the shop, and I think I actually got this for free from somebody who was cleaning up their garage. What I'm going to do next is I'm going to clean up the edges on the table saw, get them all uniform size. They're probably going to be about 5 inches wide, and when it's all said and done, they'll be about 7.5 inches long. And then we'll stain them, burn them, scrape them, stain them, different colors. We'll stencil on their coffee, and we'll put the hooks on them. What we'll probably do is put a nice decorative border around it as well, or a nice rustic border around it as well. So next step is get these boards cut to the same size, and then get them ripped on the table saw. I won't bore you with that process, but I'll come back to you once we start that burning process again. Alright guys, so I got the boards cut down to size the way I want them. Just clean up the edges real good, made sure everything was the same size. That way when I'm putting them together it doesn't look too bad. And I showed you on the last video how I burn things and what I use. I use that little benzomatic torch to do the burning. Especially on something like this, it's small. I really want control of it. Now if I got bigger projects, I do have a bigger torch that you can see right there that I do. But on this, what I want to do is I want to do a different technique than I did on the flag. What I want to do, and I'm really only going to do it to the face surface that's going to be out. I've already started this process where I burned it, so I kind of got a char on there. But you can kind of see right near this knot where it's starting to create like a gator skin texture. They call that gatoring. What you're doing is you're not just blackening it, especially with cedar. This is a really good technique. But what you're trying to do is you're trying to char it. It's always good to have water next to you just in case it gets out of control, so you can spritz it down. But what you want to do is you want to kind of bring this technique, this texture up on this cedar, and what that does is that when I scrape this, the softwood that we looked at on the flag, it raises that, or burns it down, and it raises the hard grain. So when you got a grain pattern in your wood, kind of like we see here, it will create a really weathered texture. And if you give me just a second, I'll scrape this one down with a simple wire brush, and I'll show you what I'm talking about. So I've gone ahead and I've scraped this one little board. There's the ash from that char that was on there. And what you can kind of see it now, it really starts to contrast the wood. If you were to really zoom in, I don't know if I'm going to be able to catch it. Yeah, there it is. You can see that raised pattern. It gives it a really cool texture to it. And when you're staining that, you can really work with the stain and really make this whole thing pop real well. So I'm going to do that to the rest of the boards, and then we're going to lay it out, lay out the stencils, and we're going to burn that in there with the wood burner, and then we're going to stain some different colors. So I'm going to burn these, and I'll be back with you. So I have these scraped, got the stencils on. What I'm doing now is I'm starting that burning process. What I'll do is I will go over the outlines And then what I'll do is I'll come back and I will fill in with the wood burner. And then once we do the stain, we should get enough contrast that it'll look good. But with this burner, you gotta make sure that it's good and hot. Otherwise, you're just defeating the purpose, and you're trying to force it to do something that it's not meant to do. And then I'll just, like I said, I'll go over the outline of this. Just taking my time, getting a nice, deep outline. And then I'll come back and I'll fill it in. This little wood burner was given to me by a coworker. We did a Secret Santa last Christmas, and I'll tell you, having never done wood burning and then losing my job when I did, this little gift has it's been a godsend. It's helped us to pay our bills and do the things that we need to do, and it's really what started our little woodworking business over the last few months. So I'm thankful for the gift, and I'm thankful that the good Lord has kind of given us the talent to be able to utilize these gifts to meet our financial obligations. Not everybody can say that. With cedar, though, being a soft wood, you just got to be careful as you're doing this, because it is a soft wood and you can dent it. That's not what we're wanting to do. We're wanting to just kind of make an outline for this. What I may do is I may come back with some black stain and just paint that in. I'll see how this looks. But if you feel like you're losing your heat, then it's okay just to put it back in the little tray and let it warm up for a few minutes, and you'll see that if it's hot, it does exactly what you want it to do. If it's not hot, then you're fighting it. You're over pressing too hard, and you're not getting what you want out of the little wood burner. Yeah, I think what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to take some stain. I got some tinted stain that I use that's black, and I will come back and I will paint in with that black stain. I think that'll give it a nice dark contrast that I'm looking for. And it'll also even out the tones. We did that with the yeah, because I'm not going to be able to get as dark as I want to because I've already burned this. We did that with the Scrabble tiles. So what we got is the outline on this, and what I'll do next is come back with some black paint or black stain that I have, some tinted stain, and stain that, and then we'll come back and we'll get some different colors on that. But that's the outline for that, and what we'll do, I'll go ahead and do the rest of these, and then we'll come back and we'll do some staining. Alright guys, I have done the lettering, and that's what it looks like so far. What I'm going to do now is I got 5 different colors of stain. I got a red, a golden oak, a white, a weathered, and a blue. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to brush that on. One of these is going to be natural, but I'm going to brush it on, and then I'm going to almost immediately wipe it off. What it's going to do is it's just going to tint it. Now, these tinted stains, the reds, the whites, the blues, and about 100 other colors you can get at any one of your box stores, really. This stuff is pretty good. It's a Min-Max water-based wood stain. It's a clear tint, but then you can have them tint it for you any color you really want. But I use a satin, they call it a marshmallow white, and a navy blue. That's what I typically use on my flags. I also have a black that I've used for the lettering. But I also use it when I do subdued flags, the thin blue line, red line, or combination flags. I do use those stains on that. It's a pretty good stain. But what I'm going to do is, again, I'm going to brush it on and almost immediately wipe it off, and it'll just kind of tint it a little bit. And I'm going to leave one of those that's already kind of brownish color, and it'll look pretty good, and it'll give it a little bit of a contrast. So after we're done doing this, as that stain dries, what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut the backer board for this, and we'll get ready to glue and tack these pieces on there once that stain dries. And as hot as it is today, it should dry pretty quick. So I'm going to get the stain in, and I will pick up with you guys once I have that backer board cut and we're ready to install. Alright guys, it's been a little while. Had some dinner, spent some time with the kiddos a little bit, and then I came back out here. Stain pretty much dried on most things. I did have to cut the surround, and then I just recently stained that. Let me show you what we got so far. Alright, we got the boards attached to the backer. What that backer does is it just kind of ties everything together. Went ahead and glued it down, and then put some brad nails in. And then I also put clamps on each one of the borders of the boards, and what that does is just holds it down real good while that glue sets up. It's real warm here, so it doesn't take a whole lot. This is the surround that's going to go on that, so we're going to kind of picture frame that a little bit in there. What I still got to do is I still got to put the hooks on. What I'm going to do with that is I'm going to use one of my squares and just kind of get the distance set so they're even across the way. And then I'm just going to pencil in where the circles are, drill a small pilot hole, and screw those in. Once that's done, this should be dry enough where I can go ahead and put this framework on the back there or around the sides, and then we'll put the hanger on, and then we will go ahead and clear coat this. Kandy has snuck in here, so she has taken a peek at this, but she hasn't. Other than that, she hadn't really known what was going on. But it came out real good. Again, you had the red, the golden oak or golden pecan. I think it was actually golden pecan, white, a gray wash. It really didn't come out real well, and a blue. What I did find that when I applied the stain to these, because I was being real sloppy with it, when I put it on and then wiped it off, it kind of washed out, especially on the red, the white, and the blue. It washed out the letters. So I went back and I kind of touched up the letters again, but I did kind of like the bleed through that was there, so I did leave that in that so you can kind of see it. But what we're going to do is we're going to put the put the hooks on. Then we're going to put the surround on, and we'll be ready to clear coat. I'll see you guys in a little bit. Bye. All right, here's the final product. So we got the frame on, we got the hooks on, and we got the first coat of top coat. Again, using the Krylon triple thick crystal clear glaze. It gives it a nice shine to it. And I have one coat on the back, which is all I'm going to do. Once this dries, it'll be tomorrow sometime. We will get this hung up and show you what it looks like. But that's the final product. These will probably be going on our store as well. So look for those when they come out.